Hi, welcome back to Glass House Reviews. I'm Emmett Loverde, and tonight I'm talking about The Substance. Wow, The Substance. The Substance is really something to see. It's getting a lot of attention from critics. It's probably no longer in theaters by the time you see this, but hopefully it's coming on streaming very soon. And you'll probably be hearing a lot more about it because the Oscars are going to come soon. And I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of talk about possible awards for, or at least nominations for Demi Moore and Dennis Quaid and Margaret Qualley. Um, and there's some great work going on in this film. Okay, first of all, I will have some spoilers in the second part of this review. I will let you know when those are coming so that I don't ruin the experience of, you can turn this review off when I get to that point. But anyway, uh, what a gorgeous film, except when it's not. That'll make sense later. Um, what gorgeous people in this film. Um, Demi Moore looks fantastic. And she's completely believable as an actress who is, at one time was considered, quite a movie star. And now she is running her own exercise show on a major television network and seems to be really enjoying it. She's dancing her heart out and she's smiling and, urging the viewers to keep up the good work and lose that weight or whatever your goal is. And I was on board with it. I thought it was a little brainless, but she was, making money and keeping her career going. And then she is told by the head of the television network that she's working for, played by Dennis Quaid, that she is going to be fired. Her show is going to be canceled, and it's all over. And she's given some lame excuse, but basically, this is the new reality. And yeah, there's a scene involving eating some shrimp, and it was kind of gross, but whatever. That's that's not. It was interesting. It was showing what a gross character Dennis Quaid was. But close your. I actually close my ears because I don't really like listening to people eating in any movie. Particularly when the microphone seems to be right next to their mouth or possibly even inside their mouth. So that shrimp eating scene was a little bit much for me. I guess that's a minor spoiler, but not a big deal. Demi does not want to give up her career or her show, and she is told about an elixir that she can inject into her body, and basically it's going to extend her life somehow. It's going to give her back her youth and beauty, and it almost seems to have no downside. There's some very strict rules that go along with the use of the substance, and Demi's character ignores these rules, and that's a shame. So then we have introduced a new character who is a younger version of Demi Moore's character, and this creature is played by Margaret Qualley. Now, I've actually admired Margaret Qualley in a couple of films that she's done so far. She popped up in something called The Novitiate, and it was a quiet little film about intrigue in the Catholic Church. I don't remember much about it, but I remember really liking her and finding her very intriguing and being impressed that to find out that she was the daughter of Andy McDowell, who I have liked for many years as an actress. So yeah, Margaret Qualley is the younger version of Demi Moore's character. The downside, and again, I don't think I'm spoiling much. I think you can pick this up just from the other reviews and sum ups of the movie that you probably have seen. That Margaret Qualley and Demi Moore's character basically both share the same life force in two separate bodies. And so while Demi Moore's character is awake and alive and living in the world, Margaret Qualley's character has to be dormant, has to be asleep or unconscious. And then a week goes by, and then they have to trade places, and Demi Moore's character falls asleep, and Margaret Qualley's comes to life. And at first, there's an uneasy truce worked out between the two because they are, sharing a living space, and they're sharing some life circumstances, and things are working out. But eventually, eventually both characters want more, as always happens whenever you have a deal with the devil, which is basically what the substance is about. And one character wants more time alive and awake in the earth than the other character is willing to give up. And so a tug of war ensues. And this tug of war it doesn't actually have a lot of victims. The victims are this entity which has now been separated into two bodies, and neither body can win this war. And it's very sad, but very interesting to watch the demise of this two-part person creature, because what happens to her is pretty devastating. Some might even say it's funny, or at least satirical. I didn't really find it funny. Some things in it were gross, but gross in a fun, almost cartoonish Bugs Bunny way. It was ridiculous. In the end, we're kind of left with, well, this is just another tale of Hollywood dreams that are, swallowed down the gutter. And that's very sobering. It's very sad, but what a journey to get there. So before I get to the spoilers, so I can be a little more specific about all this, let me just tell you a couple more things about the movie. First of all, yes, Demi Moore is terrific. Margaret Qualley is terrific. She is luminous and spectacular. And she kind of has to be, because her character has to be a dream girl. Her character has to be the pinnacle. You have to see her and go, there can be no one else. I mean, of course, this woman's a movie star or a TV star or whatever, the situation calls for. Why would you pick anybody else? And she has to be the most spectacular thing on the screen, and frankly, she is. And good for her. I hope this launches her into the stratosphere, because she was terrific in this film. And Demi Moore your heart breaks for her, because you get it. Especially, listen, I'm getting up there in years, and I know what it's like to look around me and go, hey, everybody here is younger than me. What's going on? And I don't know if I like this. Well, I can't really stop the clock on that, even though you'd like to. And that movie really brought home a lot of those kinds of truths about, you can't stop the not the roller coaster. Well, it is a roller coaster. You can't stop the escalator. You can't stop the up or the down escalator. And as you get older, you lose certain things, and life gets a little harder, and sometimes it's not easy to accept. And so watching Demi Moore's performance, all I could think was, I get it. I totally get it. I get what she's going through. I'm not a woman, obviously, and I know that they have challenges that men don't. But I'm sure that there's some common ground between us. And anyway, it was sad and beautiful, and there's a lot to look at and a lot to appreciate in this movie. So I enjoyed it tremendously. By the way, I don't remember the director's name, but she's a French woman, and there is a certain style and sass and sexiness to this movie that, to my mind, I'm not very educated, I've been to Paris once, to my mind seemed very French in a good way. I mean that as a compliment. First of all, the images were pristine and gorgeous, and the women were photographed so well, and I remember thinking, I feel like I'm watching something put together by the best designers in the fashion world. I feel like I'm watching something that's kind of the pinnacle of the art of fashion at this moment in time, and that's a credit to the director, who maybe she didn't design everything, but she certainly willed it into existence. So good for her. Great work. Because you have to see, when you see the movie, you have to, in order to get it, you have to want what the characters in the movie want. And when that takes the form of somebody like Margaret Qualley's character, you go, yeah, I get it. If I was the Demi Moore character, I would want that too. I would want to be that. I would want to embody that, or whatever the best way to put it is. So, wow. I totally get it. And I enjoyed the film tremendously. I don't know if it's going to win, Best Picture or whatever, all the great things, but I think Demi Moore is definitely going to get a nod. I think Margaret Qualley should get some credit too. And probably the director as well is going to get a nod. Good for her. Now, a couple of things about spoilers. There will be a couple of spoilers. So if you don't want to hear about them, stop watching. Okay. So if you're with me, you don't mind hearing the end. Yeah, the end is gross. The end is really gross. And it's ridiculous. It's gross in a nightmarish, obscene, disgusting way. And I'm sure that's entirely intentional, because they wanted you, the filmmaker and her friends, want you to see the character of Margaret Qualley, who was so desirable and so beautiful and so just ideal. And they want you to see her as a monster. They want you to see her as beyond hope. But they also want you to see elements of what made her spectacular. And interestingly, in the end, the monster is a combination of both Margaret Qualley and Demi Moore. And it's this beast, and it's nightmarish, and it's pathetic. It's certainly never going to leave my imagination. I'm going to remember that forever. I don't know that I'll ever watch the movie again, but I don't know that I need to, because there's a spot in my brain somewhere where it's playing on a continuous loop. And that's what the best movies do, is they have images in them that stay with you forever. So good work, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting tidbit. The movie's supposed to take place in Los Angeles, and I understand it was filmed entirely in not Paris, in France. I'm not sure which town, but obviously a seaside resort. And those of us who live in Los Angeles, we always get a kick out of seeing how someone else might try to recreate this place. And they did a pretty good job. So kudos to them. Okay, thanks for watching this. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode of Glass House Reviews.